Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my March 2023 mortgage overpayment update. As you'll see in a minute, it's a bit wider now than just focusing on mortgage overpayment, so I'll be talking about savings and investment balances as well. But before I get into the main video, I just want to flag that I am not a financial advisor, and these videos are just for my own personal tracking purposes, of purely for entertainment, and nothing's financial advice. So if you are interested in any of the topics that I talk about, such as overpaying your mortgage or starting to invest, then please do seek your own financial advice and do your own independent research. So now that's out of the way, I'll talk a bit about the mortgage overpayments that we did, or should I say did not do, in March 2023. So if you've been following these videos over the past few months, you'll have seen that we put a lot of effort last year in upping our mortgage overpayment. So throughout most of last year, we were overpaying by £1,000 a month, and then we dropped that down a little bit to have more discretionary spending. So it dropped down to £490 overpayment a month. Unfortunately, what's happened is that we just didn't give ourselves enough money in our emergency fund and in our kind of discretionary spending fund for things like summer holidays and experiences. There's been a few things, which I mean, the great things, because the things to look forward to, that have come up that are, time-bound experiences that we can only have this year. So, for example, concerts of certain artists who haven't toured for a while. Also some kind of events that only come around once in a while, and then family holidays where it's not just me and my partner going, and there's a few family members going who we don't normally go on holiday with. So these experiences are important for us that we do them. And unfortunately, the negative side of doing these experiences is that we have to take a step back from overpaying our mortgage so that we can afford these things. You could say, well, maybe you should have planned for it and maybe scaled back the overpayments last year. I take that on board, but it's I would feel too negative about saying no to some of these experiences when I know that it's a chance to create some really good memories, and we're not getting into debt to pay for them. It's really just using up some of the savings that we do have, and taking a step back from overpaying the mortgage. Having said that, it has made me reflect on how we've done the overpayment so far. I'm still firmly wanting to do mortgage overpayments. It's in our plan. However, it makes me feel really uncomfortable when I don't have a nice pot of emergency savings that's easily accessible, that I can use whenever we need to. And because of these holidays and experiences coming up, we have had to dip substantially into my pot, which was only just at £1,000 anyways, so it wasn't a great emergency fund. So I'll talk about the savings and investment side of things a bit later in the video, but for now, I'll just talk through the mortgage balance. And actually, it's the first month since January 22, probably before then actually. It's the first month we haven't overpaid anything on the mortgage, which is a bit disappointing, but I still got to recognize that the past few months, well over a year, has been quite a success on the overpayment front, so I can't be too harsh on ourselves. So we started the month with a balance of £115,402. Then the standard payment came off. I realised in previous videos that I'd actually just put £509 and not the 61p, and it was bugging us. So I've changed these formulas, well, the figures in this cell now, so it reflects the full monthly mortgage payment we make. And then, as I said, this month was a £0 overpayment, and the interest that accrued on the mortgage in the month was £113, which I've mentioned before, we're really fortunate that we're in the position where our mortgage rate is just over 1% at the moment, and that's locked in until 2026. So it means that these monthly mortgage interest figures are really small. And then the final balance, so knocking off the standard payment, but then adding on the interest, is £115,006. The £6 a bit of a bug. Like I wish I'd just paid an extra £7 so that we could have finished the month under £115,000. But you know, perfection's the enemy of the of the good, isn't it? So yeah, so it's still a good balance, and you can see there that even without overpaying, we've still knocked off nearly £400 off the mortgage balance in a month. So let's have a look at the total figures. So I'll just move this. So as you can see from the top there, we've started the year with a balance of £117,185. We then have made £1.5 grand in standard payments and then £981 in overpayments. The interest so far this year has been £330, and the balance at the moment, as I said, is just over £115,000. So the balance paid off in total so far this year is just over £2,000, which is really great because that's for 3 months of the year. So if hopefully we get in a position where we can up our overpayments again, it may be that we've cleared £8 off the mortgage balance by the end of the year, which would be great. So some of the other stats we've got is percentage of the mortgage paid off in 2023. So that's percentage of the original mortgage balance at the start of this year. So that's 2% has been paid off so far this year, and the total overpayment so far is the same figure as it was last month. So it's £21,221. Now, this bit which I'm going to talk about now is a new addition I put on this spreadsheet. I dabbled with doing a separate video series talking about emergency funds and investments and so on, but really it didn't quite feel right with me, because the purpose of this channel going forward, I don't really want to be focusing on the investment side of things and what I'm investing in, other than saying it's a stock and shares ISA on the Vanguard platform. I mean, that's as much detail as I go into, but I did really want to specify the funds I'm investing in or anything like that, because I think that varies on the financial advice element, which I'm not trying to give. So, but I think it's important to talk about the balance of my investments and my emergency fund, because really it tells more the story about how we are doing with kind of overpaying our mortgage as well. Because what I've been reflecting on is how much I'm willing to lock all our money away in the mortgage over the next few years, when as things have come up now where we'd like to use the money's not there to use, because you can't easily get that money out of the mortgage. And actually I wouldn't really want to do that. I wouldn't really want to have to remortgage and take money out. But what you can do is put money in a savings account that has a decent interest rate, that's instant access. You can draw out the money whenever you want, and you can build that up, and then I could potentially use that as a lump sum in the future to pay off the mortgage. So there'll be no difference in terms of the outcome, in terms of paying off the mortgage, but the difference would be that I can access that money as and when I need it. So if an emergency did pop up, instead of having that 20 grand off the mortgage balance, I could have it sitting in a pot. So if I needed to use a grand for an emergency, then I can just take it from there, rather than having to think, oh, that 20 grand's already gone in the mortgage and I can't access it again. As I said, these are my personal thoughts. It's in no means trying to influence anyone on what they do with their money. I'm not a financial advisor. So I'll just show you what it looks like at the moment. You'll see how I've had to dip into this, because the emergency fund at the moment is £1. I left that in as just a bit of a representative value to see I've got something in there. However, it's really disappointing, because for me, I feel quite vulnerable at the moment that if an emergency came up, for example, if I was to lose my job tomorrow, fingers crossed I don't lose my job tomorrow, but if I was, then I'd really have to um, sell off some of my investments to be able uh, to sort of bridge the gap between, say, now and getting a new job in the future. That's not the position I want to be in. Ideally, I'd like to have um, £3,000 to £6,000 in an emergency fund that's easily accessible, so that um, if I was to lose my job, that would last me 3 to 6 months of um, expenses, as an individual, as part of my, the couple that I'm in. Or if we are both to lose our jobs, then £3,000 to £6,000 would last. Sorry, £3,000 to £6,000 would represent 3 to 6 months of kind of core expenses like mortgage, gas and electricity, council tax, and so on. So that's the aim, and that'll be some of the focus going forwards with these videos, is updating you on where we are with that emergency fund. And then the next one is just to show the investments balance. So at the moment I have just shy of £5,000 invested in a stock and shares ISA. I won't talk about specifically what that's invested in, but I will say it's on the Vanguard platform, and there's lots of advice you can get on that, whether it's doing your own financial research or talking to professionals about that. And then the final figure to mention is probably, I think, the disappointment for me by not overpaying the mortgage and focusing on investments or emergency fund is that I don't see this overall number come down as fast as it was coming down. But what I've decided the way I can view it, to get a different perspective, is looking at the mortgage balance less the savings and investments figure. So, for example, tomorrow, if I wanted to, I could sell my investments and pay all that money off the mortgage balance, which is currently £115,000. So if I was to do that, then our mortgage balance would then reduce to £110,000. So if I am going to start focusing on these two things, emergency fund and investments, and building them up, then it may get to a point where our mortgage balance is coming down, these are rising, and then there'll be a point where they are very similar in value. So for example, I could pay off my my mortgage with my emergency fund and investments. I don't know if that's what I'll do, but it's good to see what options we do have. So that's been a bit of a waffle. I'm quite a long-winded speaker when I talk. I don't really prepare for these videos. I just react to I put the numbers in about 5 minutes before I record these videos, and then I just react to them. I find it quite therapeutic to just say it out loud, and then when I watch it back, I can be like, oh yeah, that's what I was feeling like in March 2023. What I will say, and the thing that's really stuck out to me this month, has been how important having a healthy emergency fund is to me. Even having £1,000 there was a really good peace of mind, and I think on reflection, I value a healthy emergency fund more than I value having that extra couple of grand off the mortgage balance. So that's something I need to reflect on and think about and plan for going forward. So as I said, hopefully when I talk through my April figures, I'll have been able to add a little bit more to this emergency fund, a little bit more to the investments, and you never know, I might be able to at least overpay something towards the mortgage balance. I foresee that the time when we'll be able to really start kind of proactively going against the mortgage again is probably June time. But I'll leave it there. As always, put a comment in the comment box below if you've got any thoughts, or if you're on a similar journey yourself, because I'm always happy to hear how people's journeys are going. I really enjoy reading the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.